Well, here we go with the review for section 7.5, and this can be found, this information can be found on page 570. Okay, and it has to do with simple harmonic motion. And if the equation has the form d equals a cos omega t or d equals a sine of omega t, then it has, and we're going to address question A, it describe the motion, it has simple harmonic motion. Harmonic OM. All right. Next question, B. What is the maximum displacement from its resting position? Well, that's going to be its amplitude, so, and I'll call it A equals 5. It's the amplitude. In fact, maybe I'll make that little a, since that's what they have. A equals 5. C. Then it says, what is the time required for one oscillation? Well, that's going to be the period. So period equals 2 pi over, and the coefficient on t is 3, so 2 pi over 3, just the period. And finally, D, what is the frequency? Well, the frequency is the reciprocal of the period, so that's going to be 3 over 2 pi. And we're done. Okay, now we're doing question 2. And so it says graph f of x plus equals sine of x plus cosine of x. So I've graphed the sine curve on the interval 0 to 2 pi. Now we'll graph the cosine curve on that interval. I'm at 0 here. Here we're at... Good. So what we have is... Okay, and there's the graph of the cosine curve. Now, the procedure is to add these two curves together, or their values together, and will you agree every point on the sine curve reflects the value, the numeral value of sine x, and every place on the cosine curve also reflects the value of cosine of x. So we'll add these values together. So we're going to add 0 and 1, and we get 1. Now both of these values, this would be, are identical, so we're going to add two identical values. We just double this distance. Okay, when we add this distance, which is 0 to this distance, we get that. When we add, let's keep it pretty simple, when we add this, which is 0, to that, we get this. Now here we're adding two identical values, and so we'll double this value and we'll wind up down here, and here we're going to add 0 to this, so we wind up right there, and finally we're going to add again 0 to this value, and we wind up right there. So now let's connect the dots, and this is what we get. And so I'll let me scratch these, make a few scratches in those to distinguish, so we can distinguish our result. And so the solid line without the scratches is the sum of the two values.